You're watching the award-winning GHS-TV, a nationally recognized student television station.
Welcome to Inspiring Leaders. I'm Donna Chandler Newman, your host, and thank you for watching our program. Through this show, we meet community leaders and we examine how they're using their unique talents and skill sets to make a difference. And through our discussions, we hope to inspire others to discover and to share their own leadership abilities for the overall betterment of our community. Now, what do Charles Schwab, Anderson Cooper, Richard Branson, and Cher all have in common? Well, all are quite successful in their own respective fields. All have dealt with a learning disability called dyslexia, and all of these, plus countless others, have managed to triumph in spite of their dyslexia. Today on our show, we'll focus on our own community treasure, the Bodine School, whose mission is to lead the Mid-South in teaching students with dyslexia to read and to succeed. In this first portion of our show, we'll meet John Murphy, Bodine's head of school, along with Rachel Wall, a parent and a volunteer for the Bodine School. In the second segment, John and I will be joined by Keife Hyland, a prominent education specialist in our community, and also a member of the board of directors for Bodine. Joining us now are John Murphy, head of school, and Rachel Wall, parent and volunteer for the Bodine School. Welcome. I am so glad you're both with us today.
Glad to be here.
Well, Bodine School has quite the reputation, and you, John, have taken quite a journey to get there. Tell me about how you became aware of Bodine School, and what's your background? How did you end up there?
Well, I was a principal at St. Dominic School for quite a long time, and we knew of Bodine School and actually sent students on to recommend that they would try Bodine, and also we would accept students from Bodine to go to St. Dominic. So it has a great reputation. We would also send kids to their summer program, summer reading program.
I see. So your background has been in education and being a principal, if you will. They may call you head of school, but it's still a principal,
yeah,
right?
I was an elementary principal for 28 years of a boys' school.
Yeah.
St. Dominic School for boys.
I see. So anyhow, it's a great fit for you being where you are right now, isn't it?
Yes, I enjoy it very much.
Well, now, Bodine is not a recent treasure and gem to our community. It's been around a while. It has quite a history. Tell me about the history of Bodine.
Well, it started in 1972 by Dick and Jenny Bodine. They had one son, Rick, who was dyslexic, struggled all of his life with dyslexia. When he was a junior in high school, they said, we've got to do something radical. They sent him to a school in Florida called the Mills School. He died tragically in a PE accident at school. So the Bodines were, of course, devastated by this, and they vowed that no other Memphis family would have to go through that. So they started the Bodine School 2 years after that, in 1972. They were two engineers by training, and they started the school themselves. And it's been in existence ever since.
And it's a one-of-a-kind thing in Tennessee, isn't it?
We are the only school for exclusively serving dyslexics in Tennessee, yes.
Yeah, and the nearest thing to us is someone in Atlanta, right?
There's a school with an unfortunate name of Skank that very, very similar to our format in Memphis. That's their primary mission is children with dyslexia. Elementary school, just like us, 1 through 6. So they're very, very similar to our model.
Well, and so if you didn't live here and you had a child with dyslexia and you were somewhere else, far, far away, you commute or you move, right?
Well, if you wanted to, we have had people move. In my time at Bodine, this is my third year. I've had a person from Jackson, Mississippi move to town. We have people that drive from Oxford every day, Tupelo. We have people that drive from Northwest Tennessee over the years to come to Bodine. So yeah, it's quite a unique place, and people do seek us out because if your child has dyslexia, it's what they need.
Yeah, and it is, isn't it? And so you, Rachel, I'm so glad you're with us today.
Thank you.
But you only have to commute from Collierville, so
That's
it's not
right.
quite so bad, right?
We're very fortunate to live so close to the school that we need the
Well, now
most.
tell me about how you became aware of Bodine and
Well, I knew in a general sense that Bodine existed, but of course assumed my children would be perfect in every way and never need any kind of special services. But boy, was I wrong. And I had children attending Collierville schools. My first son, Jack, sort of coasted through kindergarten. It wasn't exceptional in any way, but he got through just fine. Made it to first grade, and while his grades were completely acceptable and he had no problems at school, when he came home from school, that's when we had a problem. He would just unload, and we couldn't figure it out. The teachers had no concerns, but I did have a first grade teacher who was a grandmother of dyslexics. And she said, I think he may have it. And so she encouraged us to get a psychoeducational evaluation, and she was right. And the psychologist said, look, you know, he's spending all day keeping it together. He gets home to you, you're his soft landing, and he loses it. Find him a place where he can learn easily, and his entire personality will change. And he was right.
Oh my gracious. Well, now you have 2 children.
Yes.
Well, you have 3 that have some symptom of dyslexia,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Because I didn't even understand. First of all, it's genetic, and
Right.
second of all, there's like a whole spectrum. Correct?
Correct, and neither did we. I had, no clue when the first was, tested for dyslexia that we might have another child who would have dyslexia. We can't pinpoint anyone in our family who has had dyslexia, so we kind of hit the Holy Grail, and so we do have 2 who are enrolled at Bodine and are benefiting every day from that experience.
Now, your second child, June Cabot?
Jane.
Jane Cabot, excuse me.
That's okay.
Sorry, Jane.
Sure.
Well, okay, when you talked about her, she exhibited the symptoms in an entirely different way.
In
you
a
said.
different way. While she wasn't learning well and couldn't read, it didn't really bother her. She enjoyed the social aspects of school and was happy to go to school and have a good time every day, and learning wasn't her concern, but obviously it was ours.
Yeah.
And so we had an assessment done at Bodine, and there was no confusion. She too could benefit from Bodine, and so when she was eligible for first grade, we enrolled her.
Well, okay, so it goes first to, what does it cover?
1 through 6.
Okay, and how many children do you have there?
We have a total of 89. We have a capacity for 96, so we're quite near that.
Yeah, and you're not complete, I guess you are landlocked because you're in the middle of a beautiful neighborhood, right?
We sit on 6 acres that was donated by the Bodine family. That was their home.
It's a nice, it's unexpected. You're driving through a little neighborhood, and there it is, you know.
Very pastoral.
Yeah,
Yes.
and they seem to love it that you're there too. I have many friends that live around you, so that's wonderful too. Well, okay, so those 89 children that you have, a profound difference has been made in their home, right?
In ours, for sure.
Talk to me about what's different about your home, because it seems there's been a ripple effect through your family.
For sure. Our time pre-Bodine was devoted to calming my son Jack and managing whatever might be his woe. And after starting Bodine, it took, I don't know, maybe a couple of weeks, and he was calmer and was enjoying school and enjoying life more, and it created a peace in our family that didn't previously exist. And so, I heard another parent say at one point, give Bodine a couple of weeks and they'll restore order to your family, and that was exactly our experience. We were able to function in a very regular way after Bodine became a part of our life.
Well, okay, so John, you're not adding like special sauce to their food or something. You're teaching an entirely different way. Talk to me about how that works.
Well, we use Orton-Gillingham methods, which definitely are the gold standard for working with children with dyslexia. Take Jack Wall, who was being taught another way to read, and an intelligent child, very frustrated though because he did not understand that way to read, as children with dyslexia do not understand it at all. It's you can speak louder, you can go slowly, they're not going to understand it. And so what we were done with Jack is teach him the way that he best learns to read, and then they can flourish. And his transformation was really amazing because he was so frustrated. He so wanted it so badly. The children want to be able to read. They want to, excel. And so that frustration can really get to be just too much. I can't do this. I can't. And trying to get people to understand and trying to get, it's hard to understand if you don't have dyslexia.
Of course they do. And, when you think about it, these are wonderful, typical children, right, who are having a wonderful time. The only thing is they're struggling with the reading. That's right. So if you take a normal child who doesn't have a reading disability, just like your own children that are at Bodine now, and they don't have a reading disability, they can't go to Bodine because the teaching is very different, correct?
Well, and we have a very comprehensive, screening process. They don't need to be at Bodine.
Okay.
It gets complicated, but it would be a waste of their time. That's not what they need. Children at Bodine need very specific, very focused methods of reading and writing, and it's just wild to watch them blossom. And I keep thinking Jack's one of my favorites because he just really, he blossomed. He knew something was going on, and people like the Walls, they sought us out, and now he's doing so much better. He's learning now.
Well, talk about the Bodine, the system that you have, the house system that you have, because that's kind of, the names themselves are indicative, and I'm sure that they enjoy the competition.
Do you know the houses of your children?
Jobs. Steve Jobs.
Both of them.
So then, the siblings are in the same house. So,
good.
What do you know about the house system?
Well, it's a way to form healthy competition in the school, and list the houses.
Einstein, Edison, Da Vinci, and Jobs.
Oh my goodness.
And so everybody is assigned. I'm the only person that doesn't have a house.
Good.
Because I have to be neutral. But grades 1 through 6, it gives you good multi-grade mixing too. And the children are quite proud.
And for your viewers, those remarkable human beings also had dyslexia.
Right.
That's amazing. It really is, and that they came so far with it.
That's right.
All right.
That's right.
I mean, it's kind of surprising to me to hear when you told me Charles Schwab and Richard Branson and Cher, but also Einstein, that's really shocking. So the competition among the students, though, has got to be a lot of fun, right?
Oh yeah. Once again, they are so proud of the houses that they belong to, and it gives them another bonding opportunity. So there's approximately 20 plus children in each house, and teachers and staff. So everybody's assigned and identifies, and they always will. When new board members come on, we sort them into a house.
As well, huh?
And so everybody has that identity.
And we're going to meet one of your board members here in a minute, but first, Rachel, tell me this. The biggest thing you can say about Bodine?
If you have a child that you think could benefit from Bodine, press on. Take a tour. You can figure it out, because the remarkable change is in your child's future, and it is worth doing. It is worth the sacrifice. It is worth every effort to get your child there if they need it.
Thank you so much, and thank you for sharing your story with us today. John, you'll stay?
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thanks.
And we're going to pause now for a short break, and when we return, Bodine's head of school, John Murphy, and I will be joined by education specialist and board of directors member, Keife Hyland.
We're running a 24-hour broadcast television station like no other school has done.
It is student run, it's student produced, it is student written, and its student director.
Here's to another 35 more years.
Students here get immersed in lots of different types of shows so that when they go out into the real world or to college, if this is what they want to pursue, they are so prepared.
Those lessons have also affected me in the ways that I would never even imagine.
It has shown me to be different and to, not settle for mediocrity. When you're producing a show, you want your show to be the best one it can be. You want it to be, a show to remember, a show that you want to look back on and say, I did that.
Yes, I did do this. Did I believe that I could do this? No, but because of all the support that I gained, I know that I can actually get this done.
I know that the skills I've learned here is something I'm never going to forget, and same with the experiences here.
From all of us here at GHS-TV, have a great day.
For more information about the Kappa program, visit ghskappa.com or call 755-7775. You're watching the award-winning GHS-TV, a nationally recognized student television station.
Welcome back. I'm your host, Donna Chandler Newman, and you are watching Inspiring Leaders. Today we're talking about the Bodine School and their work in leading the Mid-South toward teaching students with dyslexia to read and to succeed. In fact, we're pleased to continue talking now with John Murphy, Bodine's head of school, and to be joined by Keife Hyland, prominent education specialist and member of their board of directors. Thank you for staying with us, John, and welcome, Keife.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Well, Keife and I've got to say, we've known each other for quite a long time because Keife was at the school with my daughter at Lausanne so many years ago. So I'm actually very aware of your credentials, but I don't think everybody else on earth is. Anyone that's interested in the education field certainly knows you, though. Do talk about your specialization in the education field, because this Bodine is certainly in your wheelhouse.
Right. I got an early start with Bodine, so I've been working with Bodine for over probably 25 years, 30, maybe even more. I don't want to express that. But the level at which I got to see Bodine working was as an administrator at a school, at two schools, at Woodland and Lausanne. And I was one of the people who designed programs to help the struggling child. So part of my specialty is identifying those children and helping. So I referred children to Bodine, and when the children came back from Bodine after their elementary experience into our middle school, consistently over and over again, they were top-notch students. And the struggle that I had seen them go through in their first and second grade no longer was happening as a struggle. Maybe education was hard, but my philosophy of education is that school should never be a struggle. It can be hard, but those are two totally different things. And when school is a struggle, like for many children that do have dyslexia, they never catch up, but more importantly, they give up. And so it's so important to have these tools and the credentials of these teachers. So I got to watch it firsthand and fell in love with that program, and then had opportunity as an educator to be their reaccreditation chair. So I got to watch the school unfold before my eyes for 20-something years. And so it was just a natural for me to say, yeah, they invited me on the board, and I was retired, and I thought, yeah, I could put some time to that.
Yeah, I'm sitting here thinking about that. There are 3,500 or so nonprofits in the area, and Bodine is a perfect fit for you, but more importantly, you're a perfect fit for them. So that's a blessing for them to have your level of expertise, right, John?
Oh yeah, Keife is just known as a champion for the struggling student. I've known her for many years now. When I was at St. Dominic and even before when I was a teacher, she actually hired me as a tutor when I was a struggling teacher back at St. Agnes. But Keife just has a passion for students that are having roadblocks or difficulties or struggling, and that's where it begins. You have to have that passion. You have to say, I'm going to help this child. We're going to do, as you said, school should not be a struggle. It should be happy and fun.
And that's where it starts, but it goes even further. These teachers, you talked about a method, Orton Gillingham, is that what you called it?
Correct.
these teachers have got to be very specialized, and you would know this better than most, Keife, wouldn't you? Do they have different credentials than?
They do. There's no other school that has the credentials that these teachers have. And their passion, because they do not have to continue the level at which this Orton Gillingham program goes, and the level goes all the way up to them being trainers too. But their passion is to do that, and the teachers voluntarily do that. And there's not monies for that, so we work toward professional development monies in order to help them. But every teacher, John can give you the statistic, but we have quite a few teachers that are moving into the high level where they soon will be trainers for this, and there's not another school that can touch that kind of training.
Right, they are lifelong learners. I know that expression is tossed around, but these people really are. They talk about the craft all the time. They like to share, and they have taken it upon themselves. So of our 10 teachers, we will have 8 of them. They're going to go to the second level, which requires hours and hours of readings and hours of classwork and hours of practicum experiences with children observed by experts. So very specific training.
So you have highly credentialed teachers that are teaching your dyslexic students. And I've got to say, this can't be cheap. And let's talk about how you fund this school.
Well, we are a private school or independent school, so we're totally tuition. Tuition is our main source of revenue, and then the other revenue comes from fundraising. And so that's how we exist. So our biggest struggle financially is that our tuition is quite high because we have such low ratio. Our biggest class is 10, and so that drives the cost up. We have 10 students with one very highly trained teacher. 75% of our teachers have master's degrees, and then like Keife was talking about, this other very specialized training. But we need more money for financial aid. That's our biggest struggle. So many children cannot access Bodine. We do have financial aid, but it's always exhausted at the end of the process, and we still have children that need the help. So that's our biggest struggle. It's the biggest part of our mission, and all the board members and all the volunteers and everybody has that in their heart. We want to help as many children as we can.
As you possibly can, yeah. I can see that. So if it is tuition-based and it is genetic, then you have people like Rachel with double the whammy, if you will. And I guess she's got to have both of them in there.
Poor Rachel could buy a speedboat every year for the tuition. It is just, we have to pay the teachers, we have to be competitive to keep good people, and then we have other specialists on staff as well. It takes that to move the needle with these children, and we make changes with them.
Let's talk about dyslexia. How widespread is dyslexia? I mean, this is not like 2-3 people have it in the community. How widespread is it?
The estimate is that to 20%, 1 in 5 of the population have some level of severity of dyslexia. It's on a spectrum. You can have severe dyslexia, moderate dyslexia, mild dyslexia, but it's the largest learning disability that has been, that's diagnosed.
So when you think about it, you could probably, if you had the monies, you could do hundreds and hundreds of students in the area. Is that?
Well, you look at a class of, let me pick a number that's divisible by 5. Yeah, a class of 30, you're going to have 6 children that have dyslexia.
That's amazing. I mean, it really is. So, and you're only able to keep 1 or 2 of them, correct?
Right.
Yeah,
that's
really
where the
fun.
Erica Center comes in.
Okay, and I want to talk about the Erica Center. Tell me about the Erica Center, because that's really a great solution. This is part of your vision, right?
Well, not part of my vision. The vision was already there, but I did know the student who the Erica Center is named after, Erica Yunkin, was a student at Lausanne. I referred her in my tenure to go to Bodine. During her tenure at Bodine, unfortunately, she developed a brain tumor and she died. So the school developed through anonymous donor and the family a center It's called the Erica Center, and the purpose of it is to mirror what Erica was like in the school, and that was she was compassionate and she cared about the other students, and she helped other kids learn while she was there, even though she was struggling. That was her vision. So that's become the vision of the Erica Center. And to your program concern, how do we reach more people? That's the goal of the Erica Center, is to go out and train teachers, to also child find through doing screenings to identify those 5 children, and to help with professional development. So once the teachers know they're dealing with that, not all those kids can afford to come to Bodine, or do we have the room for? We're maxed out. I mean, the school is to the point where there is a waiting list. And so in order to, my vision is that there's so much talent on the part of that faculty to bring that to the broader community. And so we're doing that through the Erica Center. And they're getting ready to revamp our technology. So it's not quite as accessible as we want it to be, but in a few months it will be accessible, and people could go in and see the resources that we're offering, as well as the umbrella that we're coming together in partnership and relationship with a lot of the community leaders who want to see this worked through as far as the schools, not just private schools, but public schools also.
So this is kind of an each one teach one as well, so that you are able to push the knowledge out to...
Exactly.
So maybe somebody with mild dyslexia may get the benefit without having to come, taking one of the coveted spots at your school. Goodness gracious, that is a wonderful vision and quite a load to take on, isn't it? But
it is, but it's worth it. I mean, the biggest, one of the big, goals for the Erica Center is just to raise the level of awareness in all the community, because that is very necessary. The state of Tennessee has taken that on through some legislative action. Dyslexia is real. There's a bill that was passed in 2016, and that was where it was made, it was encouraged teachers or mandated teachers to use terms like dyslexic characteristics when talking to parents about their children. So Keife and I know the path of dyslexia over the years, and so right now we're in a good place. We're going to keep raising the level of awareness about it, so that people, oh wow, that's a real thing. This child can get help. You can teach them differently. There are, it's not just a set, well, you've got it and move on. There are things you can do to help that person.
One last commercial, because I know the Erica Center is too wonderful, but the Bodine Dash is your next fundraiser, February 23rd. Tell me where. February
23rd, Children's Museum of Memphis. Go to our website
for information.
BodineSchool.org for information.
BodineSchool.org.
Great fun. It's our biggest fundraiser of the year.
And mostly community members, not just school members, but community members.
And that is different
like 70%.
That's terrific. Thank you both for being with us today. Honestly, you have such a great mission, and you're doing wonderful work in the community. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us, yes.
And thank you for being with us today for Inspiring Leaders. We appreciate our guests on today's show, John Murphy, Rachel Wall, and Keife Hyland, all with Bodine School. If you'd like further information on the Bodine School, you can check out their Facebook page or visit their website, bodineschool.org. And if you're interested in the air dates of Inspiring Leaders or for our station's complete programming guide, then please visit GHS-TV.org, where we're streaming live 24 hours a day. You can keep up with GHS-TV by visiting our website. We hope you'll like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Thank you for joining us, and be sure to watch our show, Inspiring Leaders, again next month.